Entrepreneurship, how ghetto. Just kidding. No, seriously. No one tells you about this. They talk about the freedom, they talk about quitting their job, they talk about the money, the flexibility, but no one talks about the isolation period. That phase where you don't fully fit into your old life anymore, but you're not yet where you want to be. And it feels lonely, it feels quiet, and it's confusing. But let me tell you this, if you are building a business, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're an aspiring entrepreneur, this video is for you. Because this season isn't random. It is not a sign that you should quit. I am here with you, okay? I think the pain yet beauty of entrepreneurship is that you're in the in-between season. I remember literally making the decision, taking the leap into entrepreneurship, December 2022, and my life changed. So the outgrowing of your old identity is crucial. This is where, for me, when I quit my 9 to 5 in December 2022, I was going through a personal development phase. Yeah, I was, because I had to no longer, like, it was just me. I no longer had to wait for permission. I am stepping out of my timidity. Like, I was tiptoeing around people's feelings, their emotions, how they may feel about my goals. The conversations changed. I no longer entertained certain people, and I actually somewhat paused in my dating life. Like, I paused my dating life. Like, I was not dating. I still am not, but well, I'm gonna be honest, like, I'm focused right now, I am building right now, and I'm getting closer to God. When you are doing those three things, you're working out, your your routines change, your habits change, the environment change, you kind of shift your goals. Your old routines no longer are relevant to your life. Not that you're better than anyone, it's just that you've outgrown it. Your old habits, old identity, this is that in-between phase that people don't like talking about. The conversations changed as well. Your friends that grew up around the 9 to 5, or even your family members that grew up around the 9 to 5, you have nothing in common with them now because they're limited. But when you are operating like God, when you are operating with that limitless abundance that's within you, when you're operating like, hey, I got things to do, the conversations will shift, as well as the goals. I remember I wanted to climb up the ladder. I was good at what I did at my 9 to 5. I still love my 9 to 5. Like, I don't hate it. I'm not gonna speak bad about it. However, when I was at my 9 to 5, I was limited. It just felt like I was in a small place. Like, and I can only go this far. And so I'm like, okay, perfect. I'm just gonna go that far. Even though I tried, nothing happened, but still, I still tried, and I was still limited to this space that they put me in. So the conversations, the goals, the routines will definitely shift when you're in this in-between season. But the beauty of being in the in-between season is that you haven't fully stepped into the new version of you. You're not fully seen. You feel alone. You're unsure, you're disconnected, and you're not the only one feeling that way. I felt that way for a long time. And you know what? I started to embrace that season because I saw how I transformed internally, how I developed a regulated nervous system. I was no longer timid. I was no longer apologetic. Not that, I was cussing everybody out. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying when you shift into a new identity, you're unapologetically being who you're called to be. Okay. This happens to almost every entrepreneur, especially beginners. So don't think that you're doing anything wrong or that you're misaligned. It's just that you're changing. So the question I get often, why does this season feel so heavy? Because you're building something that no one can see it. You probably don't even know what you're doing. And I get it. Don't feel bad. Don't pity yourself. You're doing nothing wrong, okay? Let me be honest, I laugh because it's like, I get it. Like, I have so much that I can say about this, but I'm gonna try to keep this video short. You're building something no one can see it, as in you're building yourself, your future self, and you're building a business. No one can see it. You're building routines, systems that will hold you as you will hold that overflow, that abundance, that legacy that you're building. So yes, it's going to be uncomfortable. You're waking up 4 o'clock in the morning almost daily, and you are incorporating routines that you would have never done. You're probably eating healthier now. You're reading books. You're no longer befriending those that you used to be friends with. You're no longer looking at those pictures that you used to drool over. You're no longer scrolling. Well, maybe you're doing a little bit of that, but I'm saying, like, you have things to do now. Like, it's just you and God. So in this season, there's no applause, no validation, no instant results. So it's just you and your thoughts. Most people quit here, not because they failed, but they don't understand what this season is for. Entrepreneurship is not for the faint of heart. If you are called to entrepreneurship and you don't know why, that means you are trusted with more. You are the legacy. You are the generational curse breaker. You have something within you, and it takes this season right here, right now, this uncomfortable season, this heaviness, this unglamorous season, to put in the work, to create systems. You need to be on a system as well as your business, okay? I know you may not know how to start a business. Don't worry about the 30-step plan. Don't worry about the fancy website or the colors. Figure out, before I jump too much ahead of this video, because I have that portion coming up, but figure out what you're good at, what comes to you easy, what comes to you naturally, without you forcing it, without you studying too much about it. What God has called you to do, you have that desire already. That desire to help people, to tutor people, to coach people, is already within you. Don't worry about the materials in this season. You will always get it back. Materials will always come back. But the thing that you have to hone in this season is to not lose yourself, to not get too emotionally, don't get too emotionally driven by how your life looks like in this season. It is just a season, okay? So here are some things that most people do wrong in this phase, in this season, that can greatly affect their growth internally and externally. Scrolling more and doubting themselves. So let's first start with scrolling before I continue down the list. Scrolling, I get it. You want to numb that feeling. You want to escape your reality. You need some laughter. So here's the thing. This is one of the reasons why I want to highlight scrolling more on social media, because it affects you mentally and emotionally, therefore impacting your environment and your external. Okay. Number one, it increases your anxiety. It increases your anxiety, y'all. Depression. It increases your depression and feelings of helplessness, particularly when you're scrolling and consuming negativity. Now, this is powerful because your energy shows up in your business, how you talk to clients, how you create content, even when you are making decisions. They don't talk about this because they want you to stay overwhelmed, anxious. But we're going to stop that right now, right? When you're stressed, anxious, or feel scattered, your business feels chaotic. But if you take the active approach, if you are actively regulating your nervous system through simple habits like deep breathing, affirming yourself with the word, prayer, taking a walk, drinking your water, staying hydrated, setting up boundaries, your clarity improves, your business feels lighter, therefore your business is growing without burning out. It literally is just you. It is you versus you. It's not you versus anyone else. It's you versus you, because when you regulate your nervous system, you take the active approach in learning how to stay calm and manage stress, it reflects in your business. It's not just about self-care. It's really about how well you can steward what God has given you. Another thing that people do wrong in this season is doubting themselves and comparing their journey. They're also not showing up consistently, and jumping into a new idea. Okay. These things are crucial when it comes to that in between season, starting from your old past self to the new identity, that in between phase where you're not sure what you're doing, what is going on, you're losing everything, almost losing your mind. The last thing that you want to do is to doubt yourself. The last thing you want to do is to scroll more, abandon consistency, and jumping from idea to idea. This is why it's so important. This is why I had number one, scrolling, on the top of the list, because when you're scrolling more, it affects your attention span. It heightens your anxiety, your stress. Therefore, you're not thinking straight, you're not thinking clearly. But this is how you're going to use this isolation period strategically, because this season is meant for clarity, not just visibility. Here's what to focus on in this season instead of panicking. Number one is to get clear on who you're becoming. Okay, this is identity work. You're going to ask yourself these 3 questions, so get a pen and paper. Number one is, what kind of business owner am I becoming? Number 2, what do I want my life to feel like? I mean, in detail, from the air you breathe to the tiles that you're walking on. What kind of life do I want to live? Number 3, lastly and definitely not least, what am I no longer available for? So the second thing that we're going to get clear on, the second thing that we're going to focus on in this season instead of panicking, is to get clear on the direction. Okay, we're not here to do everything. And this is what you're going to work on in regards to simplicity. One product or one offer is the same thing. One message and one platform. That is it. So the third thing that you want to focus on in this season instead of panicking is to build quietly yet intentionally. This is where you are building the foundation. The foundation meaning what? It means honing in on your skills. That's number one. What skills are you good at? What comes to you easily? What do people come to you for? What do you love to help people with? In this season, this is where you are honing in on your skills. Secondly, you want to focus on systems. This is so important because you're not going to always feel like creating content, recording, working on your offers, refining your messages, etc. So you want to have systems in place, content batching systems, sales systems, etc. See what works for you. This is the season where you are intentionally building so that when that overflow comes, when you're receiving 5 clients, high ticket clients, you won't be overwhelmed to where you'll end up burning out in your business and resenting the business. We don't need that. We have to become good stewards in this season. So implementing structures, systems is so important. Third, you want to build that trust. That trust is so important. Trust your thoughts, your vision, trust your word, keep your word. Okay. This is why it's so important to not overwhelm yourself with a long to-do list, because when you do and you actually don't fulfill all those items on your to-do list, it makes you look bad and then you end up feeling bad and etc. Shorten your to-do list, keep your word. If you say that you're going to post once a day, stick to that routine for a while and see how it does. But don't be too hard on yourself in this season. This is the real work that is done behind the scenes, but everyone will benefit later on, especially you. The thing is that isolation season, the season of preparation, the rebuilding season, it has its perks. The perks are knowing what you're building, knowing who it's for, and why you're building it. You're no longer running in circles. You're no longer feeling confused or heavy. You have a direction, you have a purpose. You wake up fulfilled and happy and feeling lighter. If this video helped you, like, subscribe, and comment below how the season is treating you. What are you learning in this season? I'm curious.